Oh, I
Yes, I
can't
can
see
see you.
you.
Can you see me?
No, because my
Okay,
mouse is
come on,
acting
let's go.
crazy. Okay,
We going
hey,
live? Okay, here we go.
Hey,
Hi, everybody.
hey guys,
Welcome to Tuesday
hello.
night with OTFB ladies. I am with tonight some of my fave people in the world outside of our core group. We've got Michelle, Cowboys fan, the sports jinx with us. So excited to have her back. And we get to have one of our fave OGs, Wanda,
Ah,
our Bears reporter. Oh my gosh, we
woohoo, go
haven't had Wanda
Bears!
on. Bear down. But anyways, we haven't had Wanda on in forever. So thank you for joining us tonight, Wanda. We really appreciate it. Yeah, we ready to get started? We've got a lot to
Let's
talk
go.
about.
Yes,
Okay,
we do.
but before we get started, we always have to talk about cheesesteaks because cheesesteaks are literally my favorite. And the next time I go to New Jersey, I'm going to go to Donkey's Place. It's just my mission now. They have 3 locations. So I'll either go to Mount Holly, New Jersey, I'll go to Camden, New Jersey, or I'll go to Medford, New Jersey, and go to Donkey's Place to get some fantastic cheesesteaks. And I also heard they have some good onion rings too. But that's besides the
Awesome.
point. I know, right? We gotta go. I
Yeah,
gotta go
we got
because it looks so
a road trip
delicious.
right there.
Yes, we're road tripping. Anyways, thank you so much to Donkey's Place for sponsoring us. We really appreciate it. Now, oh, good evening, Graham. Good evening, everybody out there in YouTubeville. Come join us and chat with us. We are looking forward to it because we got a lot to talk about, guys. We've got a lot to talk about. Week 1 is done with. Talk about crazy. Talk about crazy. That
Yeah.
was just a crazy game. Like John said, if you told me that the Texans, Bears, Giants, Seahawks, and Dolphins would not all lose opening weekend, I would have handed you a specimen. Wow. Really, John? Really? Hang on. I'm trying to show it. Does it pop up?
It
it
did
did pop up.
momentarily.
Okay. Very good. Yeah. So he'd asked for a specimen cup. Got you. That was a crazy week 1, you guys. That was
Yeah,
insane.
yeah,
Let's start with the kickers because our running theme here at OTFB is kickers have one job. But my friend Michelle, our friend Michelle, has a rebuff to that. Tell us, Michelle, what you got?
Everyone knows that I am a kicker's apologist, and you know, I think that so much pressure is on the kickers. I mean, everyone says the kicker has one job, but that one job is probably the most important job on the team because they are called on to win games. We saw a
Mm-hmm.
game last night where the quarterback that a team gave 4 draft picks and I don't know how much, just paid $50 million signing bonus and $256 million a year, that on 4th down and 5, instead of letting him go for it, they wanted to kick a 64-yard field goal. Who does
Oh, that
that?
was stupid.
To let the kicker
Right.
go out there and make a set of in NFL record, because that's what that was going to be, a 64-yard
Mhm.
field goal on the road in hostile environment, not even inside of a dome, because you kick farther when you're inside the house versus outside. So I think that kickers, when you look at most of the games, they play such a vital role. Look at the Pittsburgh game, and the Cincinnati game. Extra point. That kicker was dominant in the playoffs last year. Hardly ever missed, but got the extra point block. And it was so funny because I was sitting there, I'm like, yeah, but he got to make the kick. And so, just
Right.
joking. I
Right.
was really
yeah.
just joking, but you never know. Ever since they moved him back, they're not as easy. But he's been good. But everybody's gonna forget all of the games that he won last year and how he dominated for them in the playoffs. They just remember he missed that kick, and that's not why they lost. But and then a kicker won that game. If you go
Mhm.
back and look at it, how many kickers won these games actually,
Yeah.
um, over the weekend, and that seems to be a recurring theme to me because nobody remembers the touchdown that was dropped before that made them kick the field goal in the first place.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So kickers get a little bit of respect here from at least this crew.
Yeah.
Just a little
That's
bit.
right. Just a little bit. Yeah.
Hear that,
Yeah.
Lisa?
You listen to us, Lisa? Kickers get some respect.
That's
She's
Anyways,
right.
gonna she's gonna
Yeah.
take she's gonna tweet me one job.
she is. She is Kickers do matter. That's right, John. Kickers do matter. Hang on, it's popping up. Yep, Greg Joseph was 3 for 3. 58 yarder, both extra points. Kickers matter. They do. They do. So let's move on from the kickers because they're precious. They are precious. But let's talk about some of these craziness in week one. Let's start off with I'm going to start off with the Rams and the Bills because that was just a fantastic game. And did you see it coming? Did you see Josh Allen going Super Saiyan on us? I didn't see that.
I didn't see it coming, but it's not like I didn't expect it not to, because Josh Allen, he knows how to like come and overcome a bad situation. So after he threw that interception, it was like a switch, and that boy went parabolic and just did not stop, and he just kept going and going, and it was just he had a mission, and that was to win this game at all costs, even throwing his body in it and getting in the faces of some of these players. But he was having fun, and having fun. That just was it. Where on the opposite side, the Rams, you had Stafford, who was just struggling at first. But let's think about the fact that Stafford had a bad elbow and he'd been playing with it. So not to say that he wasn't being Stafford, because there's at least one game with a there's you can change the team, but you can't change the player. So he's going to play as he plays, but I will give him a little bit of sympathy because of the elbow, but not a lot, because if you wrap up that baby and then just toss the ball, you should be able to hit you guys. Yeah.
Agreed. Michelle, how about that game?
I thought it was wonderful. I think that Josh Allen has been doing Josh Allen things for the last couple of years. The thing about him is he's getting better each year. He started to move, use his legs more, which everyone could see probably last year or the year before that was a part of his game that he needed to add more to it. And he did that this year. He did that in this game one. And like you said, he threw an interception, but the best quarterbacks, they're going to throw interceptions. They just have to forget about it. That's because right. There's another play coming. There's another opportunity. And I think that the Bills, this is the last 2 or 3 years, they've been favorites, Super Bowl favorites. Mm-hmm. They've gotten close. They just haven't gotten there. And I think last year in that overtime game and the way that game ended with them, everybody thinking if they had another opportunity, they may have scored. We don't know that, but they felt like they were just this close and they could have made it. And I think that they're on a mission, and they're still going to be the team to beat. We still don't know if they're going to get there, but they're definitely going to be a team to beat. And, unless the Miami Dolphins have something to say about that in that division. So we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. Yeah. That was a very good game. Von Miller just was coming out of cannons in that game. That defense
don't make me
my goodness.
So
he was like a little kid. Like he had just he played like a rookie, and he was having so much fun on the team that he just won a Super Bowl with. It's like, I love you guys, but
but I got a job to do.
That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah, I loved it. You see a guy like that at that age still playing with all of that juice, and I mean, I loved it. I loved because I love defense, so I was so excited every time he made a play. It just made, and I wasn't going for either team, whoever had the ball or whoever was on defense. I just switched up each time, but I enjoyed the game. The first half was a little better, but defense, man, Von Miller, and just to think he could have been in with the star, and I'm gonna leave it at that.
He could have been the star. He could have.
Yeah.
Graham actually brought up a good point, kind of what we were saying. The Bills were all as we saw it, and they were, but the Rams were poorer than expected. Is the Stafford injury worse than we are led to believe? And knowing Matt Stafford, it probably is a little bit worse than what we are led to believe, because he did that in Detroit pretty much the whole time. I remember a couple times he finally wound up on IR because, he had a couple fractured vertebrae in his back or something like that. But he was playing up until then. So I wouldn't be surprised if there is something more going on with his elbow, because that's just how Matt Stafford is. He is a gamer. Right. He's going to go out there. He don't care. So, yeah.
And
So
that's probably most of the players. That's probably
Mhm.
most of the players. They play
Yeah.
with injuries. They hide because they want to play. They
Yeah.
don't want to sit. And so, Matt, it's funny you mentioned Detroit because that's who he looked like. He looked like the Detroit Matt Stafford, and not the
Yep.
one that plays well, but the one that plays subpar
Yeah.
in that game. And
Exactly.
and if you go back to the Super Bowl, I mean, really, he didn't play that great. Their defense played extremely well.
Right.
Their defense
Right.
played extremely well in the Super Bowl, and I still believe that the defense was the MVP. Um, but they played extremely well. So when you have that type of performance, the difference in this game is that their defense could not stop Josh
Mhm.
Allen.
Right.
Not this week. That'll
Exactly. They
change
couldn't.
later on, but for the week one, they weren't
Yeah.
ready.
Yep.
Exactly. Now, could it have been a Super Bowl hangover? Because then we go across to the AFC and we check out the Bengals and the Steelers. And, that kind of a letdown too. I don't know if it's a combination of Super Bowl hangover. I don't know if it's a combination of the three preseason games. I don't know, but it's just all kind of interesting as we get kind of going in this first couple weeks. I think, anyways.
I would have to agree. I was surprised at um Joe Burrow. Maybe it wasn't that he had been out for a while, try to get in there again. That's probably maybe a little bit more time with the preseason, which is funny because
Mhm.
preseason used to be don't play your starters.
Right.
Now we saw play the starters and they get a little bit more of the reps, more of the warm up. Now they're not going in there cold. So here's Burrow. Who would have thought he would throw 4 interceptions? And it wasn't that Trubisky was, you know, top quarterback there. Love the guy, love you, Drew. But um, gotta be real. But that Steelers defense, just like you were saying, Michelle, the defense is just they were the top defense of this entire week,
Mhm.
top defense because even I mean all the tackles, the fumbles and the interceptions, and I mean they were on top of their game.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, how does Joe Burrow throw 4 interceptions? He gets sacked 7 times, and when
Right.
you get sacked, as much as he was getting sacked in that game, the defense, the Steelers' defense was coming at him at every way, and so
Yeah.
sometimes quarterbacks, they start seeing people when they're not even there. So he was rushing his throws. He any little time that he had, he wanted to get that ball out, and because that Steeler defense was coming. I mean we haven't seen the Steeler defense play like that maybe the last couple of years, but they look like the Steelers
Yep. They
in
sure
week
did.
one. They
They
look
sure
like
did.
the Steelers, the steel curtain, whatever you want to call them. They look like that on Sunday. And they were hitting Joe Burrow every single time. If you glanced away from the TV, you saw him getting up off the turf. So it was tough. I mean, 7 sacks, 39 yards. I mean, they were tagging him. So that there you go. If you put those, and part of those caused some of those interceptions too.
Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. Exactly. So yeah, so it was a very interesting thing, and you look at quarterbacks and getting beat up and stuff like that. Even though the Ravens won their game, Lamar Jackson, he obviously he turned down his contract, or turned down what the Ravens offered, and I kind of understand that. But playing kind of without a contract, do you think that this is gonna harm him? What if he gets hurt? Something like that. Is it going to be, I don't know. Is it going to be something that's going to potentially hinder him? Or is he going to do the opposite and just truly bet on himself and just play lights out?
Well, I mean, it's hard when you say he's playing without a contract. He has a contract. He's just
Sure,
playing
he
on
does.
that contract. So he actually has a contract to play this season, and that's what he's doing. And he is betting on himself. Now, if he had a agent, which he's representing himself, but if he had an agent, I'm sure they would have advised him not to play. But that's just not in Lamar. That's not who he is. He wants to go out and
Mm-mm.
play. They didn't offer him a contract that was conducive to the top 5 player, quarterback that he is. And so he held out to get what he wants. And so he's going to play his season, and then he's going to let the chips fall where they meet. But I mean, he has a contract, so I think in his mind, he's honoring his contract. That's the contract that he has right now. He's going to play on it, and he's probably going to move on after that. Because if you wanted him to stay, you would have the contract there that he's asking for.
And I believe he's asking for Patrick Mahomes' money, because Lamar believes that he is just as good or even better. So that's why he's going to bet on himself to play top tier. And if he wants that, because for him to pass up the money that they wanted, that's Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson money. And he's like, no, those are the old guys. I want I want top money for what I can do. So, he had the 3 touchdowns that he threw, yesterday, Sunday, he threw, those were long passes right down the field, just beautiful passes he's throwing. So he's trying to show, I can be a passer. I don't have to be running. I'm going to show you what I can do, and you're going to pay me the money. Whether the Ravens go towards the end of the season, go, you know what, we're going to sign you. You're exactly what we want, and give him what the money he's asking for, or he's going to find a team, and that team is going to pick him up, and they're going to pay him the money.
Yeah, and he's worth it. He's a league MVP. He's earned the right. At what we're playing, some quarterbacks who are nowhere in his category, they're making top dollar, and that's what he's looking at. You're offering him things that you're offering Kyler Murray, and that was on that level. He's not an MVP. Jackson was an MVP. So he's in a top tier, and that's where he should be paid, because it's not his fault, the quarterback market. That's the market. And so that's how you pay him, based on that market and what he's worth. So, this may hurt. I don't know if it'll hurt him. It may hurt the Ravens if he walks. But, right now, I think they'll try to get it done. It just depends on, everybody's in their wait and see mode. But if the Ravens are smart, they'll get it done, because you got to look what's behind you and look, is it really, who are you going to get?
Yeah.
Because it's hard. It's hard.
Very hard.
When your top quarterback goes down, the people behind them, it's hard.
And whose top quarterback just went down?
Yeah, hey.
Oh, wait, hang on. I got to show this last little bit for Lamar from Graham. Maybe if Lamar offers to do 4 hours of homework each day, he'll get the big contract he wants.
Well, it's not Lamar. It's not Lamar, Graham. It's that's Kyler Murray. Lamar does his homework.
He does. He does. Oh goodness. But yeah, when your top quarterback does go down, it's a world of hurt. And
remember, Sonja, we're not talking about injuries, but I was on here a couple of weeks ago and we were talking about the Cowboys not having backup quarterbacks. You remember that conversation? And
I do.
And I talked about how Dallas was going to struggle in that game because they got rid of all the receivers. And look at there.
I was thinking about you that whole game too. I was like,
he's like,
Michelle, that's what
Jerry doesn't listen to me. He hasn't listened to me ever, because if he did, we would have different people on the team.
That's right.
I agree. But yeah, Dakota's gonna be out for a few weeks now.
Well, Dakota's doctors say 6 to 8. Jerry says 4. So he'll be there in 4 or 5 if Jerry says it.
I was about to say, if Jerry says it, he's gonna be there in a couple weeks. He'll be there. He'll have surgery on like a Wednesday, and he'll be back that Sunday. He probably would. Now, and I just thought this, and call me random, call me crazy, but do you think the Cowboys will draft a quarterback next year? Maybe not like first round, maybe not early round, but do you think later on? Do you think they do that?
I mean, I told you guys the last time, I try not to stress, I try not to get in the psyche of what Jerry will do. When Jerry, the thing about Jerry, and I've said this for years, is that he is loyal to a fault.
Yes.
And he is loyal to, that's why they like him. He's loyal to players. He holds on to people who he needs to move on from, longer than he should. And it could be 4, 5, 6 years longer than he should. Like, for instance, Brown is still on the roster. Nobody understands it, but he's still there. So I have no idea, because he has Jack. I mean, just think about it. They have Dak, and they decided that they wasn't even going to keep a backup. They had both of them on the injury reserve, and maybe that was some smart strategic move to do that, to pull them off for injury reserve. I mean, the practice squad. But I have no idea what he's going to do. Dakota's been hurt last couple of years. The offensive line is not getting better. I think our rookie did pretty good in the first game. So, that was a plus. That was probably the only plus. But overall, the offense looked poor. Dakota looked poor before the injury. There is no chemistry in the receiving corps. And even when Gallup comes back, he's been gone for a year or so. So, and he was still new. They were still working on it. So they have to get all of that chemistry back. And so I don't know what they're going to do. And personally, I told you guys the last time, I thought Will Greer outplayed Cooper Rush in the preseason.
Sure did.
So I don't know how Cooper is coming in as a backup anyway, but we'll see. I'll be there cheering.
But that's exactly what you were saying. You were saying that Jerry is loyal to a fault. And that's exactly what he's doing.
And that's why Cooper's there.
That's why Cooper's there. Exactly.
Yep.
And then Camden asks, though, because we're talking about loyalty, how long will he stay loyal to McCarthy?
She's all,
the other part of Jerry being loyal is ego. And he doesn't like to admit when he's wrong. And, he doesn't want to admit that McCarthy was the wrong hire. So he may stay with him. Yep. Those are the two biggest things for Jerry Jones. The same ego that put him in the Hall of Fame is the same ego that has us at the bottom and not going back to the playoffs in 20 years. That's what you get.
Yeah, that is true. And John feels that it's time for Dallas to lean harder on that run game, and Captain Cap needs to earn that paycheck. Now, hey, I think
the problem, you can't run if no one respects your passing game. And our strength is the run. And so they sit there and they wait and they say, Dak beat us.
And they know he can't.
Right.
Not those passes I saw him throwing on Sunday. That's not going to beat anybody.
Not at all.
But again, the receivers are all new. They started all over. So, I mean, not CeeDee Lamb, but, Noah Brown's been on the roster for some years and he couldn't break the starting lineup. So, you look and see that now that is your starter. And then you have a rookie. And then you have CeeDee Lamb, who's only in his second or third season. That's tough for Dak to start over. And then you don't practice. And then you don't play in preseason games. So you have no chemistry. You are learning.
That's right.
And that's what the NFL is now. They learn. It takes them 3-4 games to get into a rhythm. Yeah.
At least. Yep. And, shortening that one preseason game, I hate to keep harping on it, but it's going to make a difference. It does, I feel. I mean, because you now have a longer stretch to kind of get that warm up going and just feeling everything out and actual game situations. So that's my thought there too. So the Cowboys, but Micah Parsons was that man back there. Micah Parsons was that man.
I think Micah Parsons helped me win my fantasy game.
Cam Akers, I'm looking at you. Never mind.
Oh, he was gone. He disappeared.
Squadoosh. Man, that hurt. Golly. I don't think I've ever had a player put up 0 in any time I've ever played.
I had Darnell Mooney. We had like 0.6. That was, and I had Cole Kmet. Why? 0. But you know
my
what?
Tight end, I had the Dolphins tight end Gesicki. He had 0.71 or 87 points.
Jeez, no. I got 0 from Cam Akers. But anyway, Wanda, because you're on the show today, we're talking about the Bears. Let's talk Justin Fields.
The Bears.
The Bears.
The Bears.
The Bears. How'd they look? They looked good. They looked
good.
They looked good.
Honestly, the first half, was pretty shaky. Obviously, you know, there was Justin had a bad read on that first throw, and you know, he kind of, this is where we watch to see if he can overcome adversity. How can he come from that? And so they started getting implemented, but they have, and I'm sure you've heard that Eberflus brought on this hits principle that the team follows. And I guarantee you that Flus was in that halftime, when they were in halftime, in that locker room telling them, did you do these? Did you follow through? Because when they came out, they were a different team. Defense just blowing it, doing what they need to do. Justin just chipping and doing what you could see the fun was back. You could see his command of the offense. The offensive line came alive, and I'm watching my offensive line pancaking people. So that was just like, that's how it's supposed to be. And getting our run game, there was some, that's one thing that the offensive line has to really improve on is opening up those lanes for the run game. But that beautiful throw from Fields to Dante Pettis, I love that Dante Pettis is back in there. He's doing this thing. He needed to get out there and do something because he was really been fighting hard to make a name for himself and really get back into it. But it was just beautiful seeing, and then to see how they just decide to run afterwards and slide in there. We got shirts now with him sliding.
I was going to say, wasn't it exciting just to see them out there in the rain? I mean, you know, just playing and splashing around, you know, like little kids. They all loved it.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is what's interesting is that you've got a lot of media and a lot of people saying that, well, you know, it was the 49ers, you know, and Trey Lance, you know, he had difficulty because it was raining. Well, yeah, it was raining the entire game.
For both teams,
sides.
Right?
That's right. Both teams. Fields played in the same rain. Right. He didn't have just, you know, he had the same rain through it. They adjusted. That was something the Bears were not used to. Bears fans are not used to watching a coach adjust in halftime, come back out and do what they need to do. And that's what we got. So we're looking forward to seeing what happens next week against Green Bay. Let's see if they keep the momentum and do the same thing against their nemesis.
That's going to be a huge game. I mean, already.
I'm already stressing.
Don't stress. It's okay. You're fine. I just need Aaron Rodgers to act like Aaron Rodgers of old. Sorry, fantasy. But I wouldn't say stress just yet.
Yeah.
Just yet. Could be a little later. All right. Maybe. Maybe. But overall, it was fun to see them, or it was cool to see them having fun again. And, you know, like I told Wanda before we got started, you know, the Lions fan of me always wants to see the Bears lose. Always, always, always. But the OTFB reporter side of me is happy that, you know, they're winning, or they at least won their game, that they looked pretty decent, honestly. And like you said, Wanda, made those halftime adjustments that had been missing for so long. And I also think that giving Justin a chance to kind of get his legs and get it together and, you know, see what it's like to really kind of win and go out there and feel confident.
Yeah, exactly.
You love to see it. You love to see it. So congrats to you. That's the OTFB in me talking.
I got you. I understand.
Oh, goodness. But you know I love you.
I know.
Very good. So as John, don't go anywhere because I think you'll love this. So as we've done in the past, or we've started doing this season, we're drawing names out of a hat. And we're drawing team names out of a hat, and we're saying why these particular teams are going to go to the Super Bowl. Dana has the hat, but obviously, as you see, Dana's not here right now. I think she's enjoying the other football tonight, soccer, I think. So, yay. But she actually recorded herself drawing names out of a hat. And
That's
so
Dana.
She picked our three names. It is so Dana, isn't it? I love it.
Yes.
So she drew them. She picked him out already, and I'm not going to tell you guys. I know him, but I'm not going to tell you guys. And the reasons that you can give that these teams are going to the Super Bowl can be as ridiculous or as silly or as reasonable as you want them to be. So, with that, we're going to go ahead and start. Let's see, Wanda, I'm going to start with you,
Okay.
and I am going to give you, we picked three. I'm going to give you the Rams. Why are
Oh.
they going to the Super Bowl this year? They're all very easy today.
Well, the Rams are going to go to the Super Bowl because they're going to just overcome and break this stigma of the Super Bowl hangover. So they're gonna get in there. McVay, is going to realize, okay, I hunted for Stafford because he was wasted in Detroit. So now he's going to come back and he's going to get over his elbow thing and he's just going to do what he needs to do, and we're going to do what we like, and that's our defense. Now with our defense, and we've got Aaron Donald and Leonard Floyd, and they're going to come back and they're going to do Ram stuff.
Yeah.
Plus they need to see that the biggest thing that they need to do is to pay the piper for that huge stadium that they just built. They got to bill. They got to pay the bills. So they need to get that Super Bowl and get it back and win another one in there. So I honestly, to be truthful, do they have it? It's possible if Stafford can get past, if this elbow is truly an issue, to be able to get past. And really the question is what we saw against the Bills, the Stafford they're going to be seeing throughout the remainder of the year. Is that just one game, or is that just going to pour into that Super Bowl hangover? What's going to happen? I think the defense is still going to be the defense, but I have to say, man, that the Bills, they really put a number over on Ramsey because he was just, well, that was really serious. So I don't know. Do they have a problem back there? Is there something going on? So they're really going to have to work it. They're really going to either have to really use, but and the other thing, getting Allen Robinson. I don't know what happened there. He was nowhere to be seen, or at least in Stafford's eyes, because it was just not. So the team is missing Odell for sure. They're for sure missing OBJ. So I think they needed to get somebody close to that, and they thought it was Allen. I don't know if maybe it's just some communication issue, but if they fix it up, they should be good to go with Kupp and Robinson and get that situation going. They will get back to the Super Bowl, and it will be the Bills and the Rams, and they'll make that's right. It'll be a redo.
Yes. Very good. I like that one. I don't argue with you. I think if they get it all together and Stafford is Stafford the Stafford that we know, and the defense comes through and it's the defense we know, they're there. Yep. Michelle, you're up next. I got a toughie. The Chiefs. Why are the Chiefs going back to the Super Bowl?
Oh my gosh. Man, I can't even imagine how the Chiefs would make it to the Super Bowl. But I believe that the Chiefs were disappointed last year. Everyone's all up and talking about the Buffalo and everybody else, and we act like Mahomes them haven't gone to like 2 or 3 Super Bowls,
right?
And so I think that they're on a mission quietly, and this is going to be easier for them because they're under the radar now. Can you imagine Mahomes and Andy Reid being under the radar? They lost Tyreek Hill, but we didn't see any evidence of that. Not in game 1.
That's right.
I think they still have all of the tools to still make it to the Super Bowl. They have Andy Reid. They have their offensive coordinator. They got Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes had 360 yards. Yes, in week 1 with 5 TDs. They're not missing anybody. They trying to let us know we still here. We
Yep.
still here. We're still here, and we're still the team to beat. And no matter how much you talk about Buffalo or the Rams or whomever, the Dolphins or whomever you want to speak about, we are Kansas City Chiefs. And we've been there and we've done that. And not just once, but twice, or however many times we've been there. We will get back. And I think this is their chance. This is, they're not the favorites. They're not the person that everybody's trying to beat. They're just coming in here. They just got to knock off the Bills and their crew's selling. They're selling in. So
I
I
like
think
that.
Kansas City goes in there. They win the division. They win the conference. And
All right.
they're in the Super Bowl.
And they're in the Super.
There you
I love
go.
it. I like that. And I agree. I think that they are okay, fine. Talk about the Bills. Yeah, talk about the Bills. We're just going to be over here doing our thing. Don't worry about us. We're good. We're good. Mm-hmm.
As long as Mahomes, can throw against that defense, we're in there.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. All right. Guess who I
Okay.
got, John? I got the Vikings.
Woo-hoo!
I got the Vikings. So John, this is why the Vikings are gonna go to the Super Bowl. Um, I think they're gonna go because Justin Jefferson, wow, he's great. And who got him the ball? Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins got him the ball. Stop, Michelle. Leave him alone. I think though that they're going to the Super Bowl because again, nobody's going to see them coming. Their defense overall had they shut down Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. Granted, it was week 1, but still, they held them to 7 points. 7 points in this high-powered offense that was doing fantastic things last year. True, Rodgers has some stuff to work with, but they still did that. And if their defense can still be stifling, if Kurt can do what he needs to do, and honestly, like you said, he is a good quarterback. He is a good quarterback, and he does, what he needs to do. They've been to the playoffs, they've done their thing. So if he can do that, keep that up, and the defense is stifling, boom, they're in. They're in.
And they have Dalvin Cook.
And they got Dal Cook. That's right. They're in. That run game, though. Exactly, Camden. That run game, though. Yes, girl. Yes. But I agree. That's why they are going to the Super Bowl. And Graham even has Minnesota winning the NFC North. And it could happen. It very well could happen. But it's the black and blue division for a reason, though. They like to beat each other up.
Yep.
Yep.
I love it.
I love it. You like it? I love it.
Kudos to the hat.
Yes, kudos to the hat. Thank you, Dana, for doing
Good
that.
picks. Good
Very
picks.
good picks. Very easy picks, but very good. It's kind of funny. We haven't gotten any.
I mean,
like,
I had
tough ones.
Atlanta last week, so
You
I mean
did.
last time.
You did have Atlanta. They might not go.
Yeah, maybe not.
And yes, Kurt finally has a coach who believes in him. And if he does that and rides it out, I don't see why not. I
Beam
don't
me
see
up,
why
Scotty.
Yeah. There you go.
not. Oh goodness, ladies, this has been fun. Time has
It's been a
flown
blast.
as it's been a blast. I am so thankful that you guys came and chatted with me. I appreciate it. As soon as it was like nobody's gonna be here but me, I'm like, oh, Michelle and Wanda, let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go. Oh my gosh. Yes, Wanda, thank you so much for joining us. I really
Oh, my
appreciate
pleasure.
it. Yes, we'll have you back on for sure. We can talk some more fantasy too, because I don't think we've talked a lot of fantasy this year.
That would be
But I
great.
think we're gonna
Yeah.
need to because
Yeah.
yeah.
Sounds like a plan.
Yes. Michelle, as always, thank you, thank you, thank you. You know we love you. You're the greatest.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, of course. Of course. Always a fan. Now, Dana, you're going to be really thrilled because I'm going to end this in 45 seconds because we're going to go exactly 40 minutes. So,
What?
yes,
Woo!
we are going to
Whoa.
go exactly 40 minutes and we've got,
30 seconds.
30 seconds left. So, yes, we are good. Thank you, Donkey's Place. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure if you're in New Jersey, you check out Donkey's Place. Enjoy some of their great cheesesteaks. Guys, please check out, guys and girls, please check out our Fanatics link so you guys can get your gear for the season for any season, baseball, football, we got you, college, all that good stuff. So, yes, thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for chatting with us. You guys, we'll see you next Tuesday.
See you guys.
Bye.
Go Bears,
Bye.
go Lions, go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys.
Bay. Woo-hoo.